Hello and welcome to the second episode in the Tips and Tricks series. This time I'm going to be focusing on cavalry and some of their mechanics. I will start off with a battle just to show some things off and show a few misconceptions. Let's go one of these, one of these, one of these, and one of these. This is mounted crossbowmen. This is missile cavalry. This is for Holy Roman Empire. They haven't got a huge variety of cavalry, but it's pretty decent. Standard for Western factions, really. So this is light missile cavalry. This is light cavalry. Standard mounted sergeants that Western. Mailed knights, also standard for Western factions, and then feudal knights, which are also standard. And we're going to be doing a bit of a race. As stupid as that may sound. Just to see what the speed is like on each of them. So we're going to start some deployment. So let's try and get it a bit even. Seems about right. So we're going to start the battle, pause it. And we're going to give them all orders at the same time. I'm going to take the missile cavalry off of skirmish and off of fire at will. And we're going to each charge the unit in front of them. Then, there we go. So if we select all of these and hold shift, we'll see they all have run orders and they're all running. So if I unpause it, we'll see which ones are fastest. So this one is the mounted crossbowmen. This one is the light cavalry, the mounted sergeants. This one's the mailed knights, this one's the feudal knights. Right, so get some derpy AI, however pathfinding it is. They sometimes reform, like, that wasn't a spread out group, but that's reformed a bit. I'm not sure why they does it sometimes, but it does it. Right, already you can see very different speeds going on. So these two in the middle, they're identical speed. This one's obviously faster, this one's obviously slower. What's weird about this is light cavalry and this is heavy cavalry, yet that's the same speed. This is also light cavalry, but it's missile cavalry, but the missile part doesn't technically matter, it's what horses they use that matters. Right. So I tapped for a sec there. This is also heavy cavalry, but it's slower than this heavy cavalry, which I'll go into this in a bit, but I'm just gonna zoom in the horses, let you have a look at them. So these are fast ponies. These are ponies or horses, I don't know which, I can't remember. But the important thing is they haven't got armor, they're not barded. Whereas these ones are, which slows them down. And also adds mass, but so you see, mounted crossbowmen straight in there, very fast unit. Second are mailed knights and mounted sergeants at the same time. This is very good to know if you if you want to know which fast cavalry to get, and also which cavalry to use for which roles. I'll go into that later. So you saw the speeds there. That's pretty much what I wanted to show you so far. Here we go. I've got the stats for them here. You see, as you can, and I'm going to use this as a cursor because I can't get my mouse to show for some reason. Anyway, I will explain what the stats are. These ones are blurred out. This top row. This is how many in a unit normally for large size or huge size. I think it's just, it's probably normal actually. So this is normal unit size. This is the upkeep cost, which you don't really need for multiplayer. It's only valid in single player. This is the recruitment cost, which is important in both multiplayer and single player, which is it's great to know. This is the morale, which is also very important. this is the primary attack. Okay, so for this crossbow unit, it's their crossbows, which they only do 5 damage, but they're armor piercing, which means that before calculating the enemy's armor, it halves their armor, which is, it's pretty good. This circle icon means they do the Cantabrian circle, where they all ride around in a circle and they shoot. The 120 is the range. For these three, this first line, the primary attack, is the lance, or in this case the spear. So this has 9 attack, plus 4 on a charge, which is the charge is when they use the lance or spear, or providing they've made up enough distance on the charge to get it. The triangle means wedge formation, which is it's just an ability, much like the Cantabrian circle. The lances, as you can see, they're a lot stronger on the charge. 6 compared to 4, and 10 compared to 9. The second row here is the secondary attack. In the crossbow case, they pull out sword or whatever. These guys, they pull out swords as well, I'm pretty sure. Mounted sergeants might use their spear. I've got to check that, but you get the point. It's the secondary attack. And generally, you won't use the charge bonus, because when you use cavalry, you try and give them enough distance to get a run up and get up to speed before they impact. And if you do that right, they'll get their lances down. They'll use their lances, and that's what you want to do. So you shouldn't really worry about the charges for these secondaries. Worry about it for the crossbow though, because that is technically their charge. This last one is their armor. This is interesting because mounted crossbowmen, if you compare them to mailed knights, are identical except they don't have a shield. So if mailed knights were to be shot in the back, it would be the same as mounted crossbowmen being shot in the back. It's that same armor. Also, it's good to pay attention to that if you're going to deal with if you're going to compare mailed knights and feudal knights. Right, this is the important thing. These triangles up the top here, that is the speed. As you can see, this is exactly what we found in our test. Mounted crossbowmen came in first, mounted sergeants and mailed knights, the light cavalry and heavy cavalry both came in at the same time, and feudal knights were last. The reason for this is here. It's the type of horse. So as you can see, the speed here for the different types of horse. Mounted crossbowman uses fast pony. In the game, if I could probably show it again, but let me open the custom battle. If a unit has fast moving, the trait fast moving, then you know it is. Let me just take this off so you can see. Let me just get rid of all of this. Alright, if it has the trait fast moving, as you see here, these crossbowmen can form shooting circle. That's the Cantabrian circle. We talked about that. Effective against armor. That's the armor piercing. We talked about that. Fast moving. That is what you want to look for if you want to find fast heavy cavalry. No, light cavalry. Sorry. That's the determining factor, not whether it's light cavalry or heavy cavalry. Let's get these back. Alright. Yeah. So. Fast pony for this guy because it's fast moving. This is either pony or heavy horse. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it was a pony, but I could be wrong. Heavy horse here. I'm 100% sure. Feudal knights have either mailed horse or barded horse. I'm not sure, but they are technically identical. There you go. So, if you're this is really important if you want to, choose the right cavalry for the right role. if you want light cavalry to hunt down troops that are routing and cut them down while they're routing and make sure they don't come back, then you want something fast, and it doesn't matter so much like how strong it is or how good in melee it is or even any of that. But and you also want it cheap, or as cheap as you can, because it's an expendable unit. It's just chasing down enemy routing units. As important as it is, you want it to be cheap. So these mounted crossmen are actually better at it for the cost than mounted soldiers because of their speed, and also they can be, they have another job of covering fire. 5 damage is really, it's minuscule, but it does help against the armoured troops, especially if you can run them around, shoot them in the back. That can actually do a lot of damage over time, especially if you have multiple units. Yeah, but don't expect it to, mow down whole units. It's really not that good. What else? Oh, mailed knights and field knights. Don't be scared about getting the mailed knights, because they have their role. I mean, field knights aren't a direct upgrade. Mailed knights, as you saw, were faster. They're also cheaper by a whole 50 points. That's quite significant. That's nearly like a whole armor upgrade. I mean, if you wanted to do that, or you could say you're getting 4 heavy cavalry, and you get 4 mailed knights instead of field knights. That's 200 points you can just spend on like another unit or upgrades, and it's quite a lot. The differences between these two is, if you compare heavy horse to mailed horse. Mailed horse has more mass, which means it will do more damage on the charge, and that's the main role of heavy cavalry, right? To do damage on charges, and then is the bulldozer of the medieval times. That's what it's usually called. They have the same stats here for attack, both primary and secondary. The armor is actually not too different. It's the same except for the actual armor level, which is probably most important. It's it's not actually that much. I mean, it's noticeable, but it's not huge. Mailed knights are kind of the in-between of light fast cavalry and field knights. They're solid, they're versatile, and they're more likely to catch. You really shouldn't be chasing missile troops with your heavy cavalry, but these guys, sometimes they're the same speed, so they can actually do it. The morale is the same as well. That's something to pay attention to. Mounted sergeants. These guys I really dislike. They're worse. I mean, look at the mass. Like, only compared to even compared to the heavy horse, it's tiny. I mean, they're not going to really do much on the charge. I mean, you'll probably kill a few, but like, you will take lots of damage on the charges as well. And I mean, they're the same speed as mailed knights. I mean, they're cheaper, obviously, so it's more of just disposable, if that makes sense. I mean, there's worse morale, it's worse everything. Yeah, that's pretty much it for this episode. I mean, I can't think of much more to say about this. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. I mean, look for the type of horse, or in a tooltip it will say fast-moving, if you want a fast-moving cavalry. I mean, with 3 different speeds of cavalry in the game, you either go, medium, that's more versatile, generally. Slower if you want, the tank that does solid damage on the charge, or the light. But don't be fooled by these light cavalry, which are actually the same speed as mailed knights, because they're just useless, to be honest. Yeah, so I hope this helped. It's kind of I wasn't actually expecting to do this. I was going to do something about the spearmen, but I thought this was a bit more important. Yeah, so Any feedback would be good in the comments, whatever. This series, I'm gonna hoping to do a few more, but it takes a while to do all the testing and everything. Oh, and if anyone wants a link to all these stats, there's something called Forced. It's like acronym or something. I can link to that. Someone on the forums made it. I'll credit them, whatever. But yeah, that's it. Hope you enjoyed.